Hi, everybody. I want to open up this observation number one real quick, um, maybe for a few hours today, because I'm noticing that there are some similar errors on throughout the papers. I haven't put any points or comments. I just glanced at some of the observations that were submitted. About, excuse me, about two-thirds of the class submitted the observation number one, and out of those two-thirds, about one-third or maybe more, are missing some pertinent details that I need in order to, grade you effectively. And I know it's only 10 points, but the key to this observation is to get the feedback so that you would know what to do for sure for your next observation. So I'm sending this message out hopefully to save me from having to write a whole bunch of detailed notes on each of these observations. But I'm going to open up this assignment again so that you guys can kind of go back in and make some adjustments until later. I have to leave for an event, so maybe until later tonight or tomorrow afternoon. So anyway, if you look at the assignment for observation number one, it says plan your visit for at least 45 to 60 minutes. So what I'm expecting is definitely more than just one anecdotal note. Within 45 to 60 minutes, you should have multiple anecdotal notes and a running record that reflects a time span for at least 45 minutes. So if you made your appointment for 9:30, then your running record should be from, 9:40 to at least 10:15, 10:20 or something like that, minimum. So if you only had one note, then it wasn't enough, okay? You were also supposed to write objective observation notes. So it looks as though some of you attempted this assignment without reviewing your lecture notes for that week, because that week there was a PowerPoint on observations and there were practice videos for you to practice writing objective anecdotal notes and things like that. So if you did not do that and you just attempted this assignment, it would be understandable why a lot of the notes that are there are very subjective, meaning that they're your own interpretation of the child's behavior. So there's things like, I'm using Jonathan as an example, but Jonathan didn't want to go outside, or Jonathan didn't want to eat his breakfast, or Jonathan didn't want to share with his friends. So those are all your interpretations. Instead, you would put the actual behaviors or the actual language that Jonathan used. Like when asked to go outside, Jonathan said, I want to stay inside. Or when asked to go outside, Jonathan continue to play with the Legos. Or when another child asked Jonathan for a block, Jonathan snatched the block and held it close to his chest. So those would be the descriptions of the child's behavior versus you saying they didn't want to do this or didn't want to share or couldn't, count or whatever. So then the next thing you were supposed to do is identify if you were going to do anecdotal notes, running records, or if you were going to complete the observation form that I gave you in class. So you were supposed to label which one did you do. Did you do anecdotal note records? So, or did you do a running record? So the label of your assignment should have been observation number one, running record, or it should have been observation number one, anecdotal notes. Or if you use the observation form, you were supposed to just put observation number one on that form. So when I look at your assignment to review it to see did you adhere to the guidelines appropriately, I need to know which one were you trying to attempt. If you weren't in class and you didn't get an observation form, then your only two choices was running records or anecdotal notes, anecdotal records. So many of you have to go back and label the type of observation that you were doing. And then many of you have to go back and put the date, put the time, put the location, the classroom, all that missing detailed information that you're supposed to provide anytime you do an observation. This other thing said, don't forget your important details. Oh, I just said that. And refer to PowerPoint week 6. I said that also. So if you were reading these assignment guidelines, these were all things that you should have done for this assignment. And then it also says be sure to keep your observations objective and not subjective. So go back to my Jonathan examples. That's what I was talking about. When you say Jonathan didn't want to do this or couldn't do this, that's all subjective. When you describe the behavior exactly as it happened, or maybe what the child said, then that's objective. Okay? You want to record the facts, that's objective. Personal opinions, that's subjective. Personal perceptions, that's subjective. So you want to keep those to yourself and only record the facts. So what I need many of you to do is to go back in. If you have written notes that maybe you didn't type up everything, go back and see if you have something you need to add to what you typed up. Go back and label your observations for what it is. If you're not sure about whether or not you did objective or subjective, go back to week 6, and look at the PowerPoint and the notes and some of the practice videos. Also, getting to know you video. Look at that also. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Now, I know this assignment was only 10 points, and I hope some of you who didn't do the assignment didn't skip it just because you thought, oh, it's only 10 points. The key for this assignment was to give you practice and to allow you to get feedback before you do the next one, which is worth 25 points. Okay, so if you don't get the feedback and you turn in a 25-point assignment, it's possible you can lose a lot more points on that assignment than what you needed to. Now, I hope that everybody take advantage of the opportunity to go in and make adjustments to observation number 1, because then it will save me from having to write the same comments over and over again for everybody. When you can just look at this and go back and say, oh, wow, did I do this? Did I do this? Are my notes objective or subjective? You can do that for yourself. I just want to make sure that you understand how to do that. Okay. Wait a minute, dog. Wait a minute. Okay, give me a minute. All right. So if you have any questions, please post them. I will be unavailable for a few hours today, and I will check back in later, early evening or later this evening. Okay. Take care.